Hello, everyone. Welcome to the FCIDC annual reception. I'd like to point out the backdrop that we have today before we get started, and that is one of two quilts that was made by the St. Albans mask making group led by Pam Cross. This, as I said, this is one of two quilts. All this material was utilized in the making of more than 26,000 masks, and we'll be touching on that a little bit later. Hello, my name is Tim Smith, Executive Director of Franklin County Industrial Development Corporation, and usually at this time, FCIDC holds our annual reception, which is usually in person. As you know, that's not possible due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So we're working with Northwest Access TV to bring a version of that to the public, to our supporters and to the viewers of Northwest Access in hopes of continuing to educate folks about what's happening in the county and what's happening with our economy. So today we'll be presenting a few awards and some recognition as well. So we normally present two awards. One's a business award and one is a individual community and community service award. So the business award goes to just that, a business who's been active in the community, who has made an impact. The individual community service award, which is named after our former chair, Bill Chaffey, who was very active in the community himself before passing away in 2016. So the Bill Chaffey Community Service Award will be presented a little bit later, and the business award as well. In addition to that, Kathy LaBoy, and Franklin County Industrial Development Board member and former Workforce Investment Board director, will be presenting the Rick Manahan Memorial Award on behalf of the Franklin Grand Isle Workforce Development Board. First, let me say a few words about FCIDC. There are some viewers who may not be familiar with our organization. The FCIDC mission is to engage in a process of building a strong and diversified market economy that serves the interests of our area enterprises, municipalities, and residents, and to strengthen our economy through the creation and retention of jobs and build a business environment suitable to host capital investment. This has been the mission for FCIDC for almost 50 years. Come August 21st of 2021, we will begin our 50th year helping to make Franklin County a great place to live. 50 years ago, 1971, Franklin County had double-digit unemployment, one of the highest in the state. The railroad was downsizing, in part due to the then recent construction of Interstate 89. Agriculture was becoming more automated, and we lost some manufacturers, of which we had very few to begin with. Local leaders created the precursor to Franklin County Industrial Development Corporation, and that was the Target Area Development Corporation. Industrial parks were created in St. Albans and Swanton, and manufacturers were recruited. Today, Franklin County has one of the highest percentage rate of manufacturing jobs, and this has led to having one of the strongest economies in Vermont. The list of businesses that FCID has recruited or assisted over the years is lengthy. Companies like Peerless Clothing, Ben & Jerry's, Berry Calabo, Vermont Precision Tools, Superior Technical Ceramics, Techner Apex, St. Albans Cooperative Creamery, and the list goes on. These businesses have created hundreds and hundreds of jobs over the years, jobs that pay good wages and offer great benefits. Obviously, we are well versed on the multiple impacts COVID-19 has had on our lives, and those impacts are different for each and every one of us. But here is one reason why Franklin County continues to be strong. Most of our manufacturing facilities were considered essential businesses, and because of that, they were able to keep their doors open, maintain employment, and continue to produce products which are shipped across the country. Franklin County, for the most part, is not dependent on the service and hospitality industry like other parts of the state. We have not been hit with high unemployment like those in the other areas. With that said, I would like to commend all of our restaurants and small businesses who have been able to creatively figure out how to stay in business. I know it has not been easy, and the pandemic appears to be with us for at least another 5 to 6 months. And there will be more struggles, but I am optimistic for our region, and here's why. We live in one of the greatest communities in the country, and when I speak of community, I mean Franklin County. We are a people who make the effort to support our small businesses. We buy gift cards, even though we may not need them. We find a reason to support local. We go out to eat, even though it may not have been in our budget. We check on our neighbors, and we follow the governor's guidelines so as to limit the spread of COVID-19. Our workforce shows up to work every day despite the risk of catching the COVID virus. Our dairy farmers milk cows 365 days a year, even though there may be record low milk prices and production costs are more than milk prices themselves. There is a pride in who they are and what they stand for. But most of all, we care about each other, and that's what makes Franklin County exceptional. One day we will get back to some resemblance of what we know as normal, and when we do, please don't forget what we went through to get to this point. We will want to make up for that lost time. We will want to remember those simple things we lost, so when the time comes, give more hugs, shake more hands, celebrate more holidays, spend more time with friends and family, and celebrate what we have all live, and celebrate that we all live in the best place on earth, Franklin County. So thank you. A couple other things as far as FCIDC. Since the COVID began back in April, we have been, myself and our small staff, Elizabeth Nance, Amy Kimball, Connie Burns, have all been active in reaching out to businesses, hundreds of businesses within the region, educating about what the national programs are, what the state programs are, what resources are available to them, and they've been able to they've been receptive to these contacts and have done their best to follow through with these programs so as to assist their business. So we've been very busy. We continue to be. We still have more activities. We're planning webinars. We'll be doing reach out to other businesses to keep them informed. And with that, we hope that we will have businesses that will continue to stay in business and hopefully will remain strong or stronger after the pandemic is over. So with that, I will move on to the awards portion of the of our event today, and we'll start with the business award to begin with. Each year, the Franklin County Industrial Development Corporation awards a Business of the Year award. The criteria includes, but not limited, job creation, community investment, capital investment, and community involvement. And this year's business has all of that criteria covered in spades. The Richford Health Center, Incorporated, doing business as Northern Tier Center for Health, probably better known as Notch, is this year's FCIDC award recipient. Notch is a 501c3 nonprofit organization consisting of 6 health clinics, 2 dental clinics, and 2 pharmacies. The Richford Health Clinic first opened their doors in 1962 and hired their first medical director in 1993. In 1998, dental services were added to the Richford site. In 2004, Notch purchased Richford Rexall to avoid the purchase and closure by a national chain. And in 2008, opened St. Albans Health Center at 2 Crest Road in St. Albans. In 2010, Notch Dental Clinic opened on campus at Missisquoi Valley Union High School in Swanton. In 2010, Notch purchased property at 382 Main Street in Enosburg, demolished the existing structure, and began construction of a new Enosburg Health Center. In 2013, Notch contracted with Northwest Counseling and Support Services for behavioral health services in all of Notch medical offices. In 2016, they opened a new site on Fairfield Street in St. Albans. They also moved medical and dental services into the new Swanton facility in February and held an open house. They secured a grocer to continue store operations in Main Street Mill in Richford, and they purchased a TD Bank property adjacent to the Swanton Health Center in Swanton. In 2019, they purchased the Swanton Rexall and added that to their operation as well. And the most recent achievement of Notch was the Notch board chose to take over the grocery store in Richford so as to offer quality food for Richford and Berkshire residents. Without that, Richford would have been considered a food desert. So those are just a few of the highlights for Notch. They do employ 160 individuals. And if you look at what we look for in awarding this award, we talked about community investment, capital investment, community involvement. And as I said earlier, the Notch really has covered all of these aspects of the award in spades, and they've been a valuable asset to the entire county. So I'd like to, I'm honored to present this year's FCIDC Business Award to Pam Parsons and the Notch organization. So right now I'd like to invite Connie Burns, who's a staff member at Franklin County Industrial Development, as well as a Notch board member, to present the award to Executive Director Pam Parsons. Connie.
Thank you, Tim. It's an honor for me to be here today, and I would like very much to present this award to Pamela Parsons, Executive Director of Notch. It's with great pleasure and I'm honored to do this. Pam?
Thank you very much. I am honored to receive this award, not only the Board of Directors of Notch, but the staff also being recognized by Franklin County Industrial Development Corporation is very rewarding to us. All the years we've worked in expanding from one little health center in Richford to now 6 medical locations and 2 pharmacies and 2 dental facilities, and lately we've tipped our toes to a grocery store. I'd like to recognize 2 women. This began in the early 90s, and I would like to recognize Carolyn Coons and Marsha Perry. We started trying to figure out how to bring services to the Richford community in the mid-90s with a commitment that we felt that services needed to stay in the communities or be brought to the communities if possible. And one of the things Marsha Perry said that I always remembered was, we build the nest, we build the framework, and then with that framework, we can keep services or bring services. And I think doing that and staying focused on that has helped with adding the Swanton Rexall, for example. We had the framework, they wanted to stay open, they joined Notch, and Swanton was able to keep a pharmacy in their community. And a fallout of this is that I see is we also have been able to bring jobs to the community. And these are jobs that help keep families and individuals in their community and help support the community. And we're an organization thinking of healthcare, but we also are concerned about keeping the health of our communities well, and we feel that businesses within the communities does just that. So thank you so much for this award. It's greatly appreciated.
One last thing I'd like to present, Pam, and that is because we did not hold our reception, and usually we have some costs associated with the reception, we wanted to donate the funds to our recipients. So with that, I have a check for $500 for Notch to go along with the award to use as they see fit, best for the community. So Pam, I'll present you this as well. Thank you very much, everyone. Now we'd like to award our individual award, and as I stated earlier, this is the Bill Chaffey Community Involvement Award. Bill was our board chair for decades and passed away in 2016. Bill had a long resume of community involvement since he moved back to his hometown in the early 70s. His activities range from years of being the St. Albans Little League president to being a charter member of the Northwest Solid Waste Management District, and as well as chairing the St. Albans Museum Board, plus so much more. This year's recipient of the award has actually followed a similar path as what Bill did. Both grew up in St. Albans, both went to high school here, and then ultimately moved on from their hometown, only to return to have a substantial impact on our community. This year's Bill Chaffey Outstanding Community Service Award is presented to Karen Rushlon. Karen is a friend of mine and is currently the St. Albans Rotary President and has participated in organizing the Rotary Home Show and Silent Auction over the past years. With the home show being canceled due to COVID, Karen was one of the organizers who created the successful Lucky Ducky fundraiser to help offset the loss of the home show proceeds. The other big Rotary success that Karen initiated along with Trish Woodward and Stephanie Cunningham was the founding of the Interact Club at BFA St. Albans. The club works closely with student volunteers, high school volunteers, to organize events like blood drives, coat drives, which one is going on now, and chaperoning the Rotary ski bus, plus so much more. Karen currently serves on the Northwestern Medical Center board and was on the Capital Campaign Committee for the hospital's most recent expansion. Karen was on the initial board and driving force behind Vermont's first 100 Women Who Care organization. This is an organization whose members donate funds regularly to support local nonprofits. Karen has also been environmentally active as she has led informal efforts to get rid of invasive plantings. To quote fellow Rotarian and friend of Karen's, Carrie Johnson shared the following: Karen is organized and willing to help in any way she can, from getting her hands, car, and house dirty, all the way up to personnel management. The community is lucky to have her. In addition to the larger events, she also checks in on people regularly, as I can attest after the passing of my husband, Bob. So with that, I would like to present this year's Bill Chaffey Outstanding Community Service Award to Karen Rushlon. One other comment that I received from one of Karen's volunteer co-workers, I'll say, Stephanie Cunningham. Karen Rushlon came to BFA 4 years ago offering to launch a Rotary Interact Club for the students in our community. Rotary Interact is an international membership and includes more than 40,000 chapters worldwide. The mission of Interact is to teach youth to be community builders and social entrepreneurs. Since that startup, nearly 100 students have participated in a number of projects, including the annual coat drive, which donates hundreds and hundreds of coats, numerous blood drives, pop-up kindness events such as free car washes and Ben & Jerry's ice cream, as well as the annual flowers. They also do giveaways for the senior citizens, food drives, service projects such as cleaning up area waterways from invasive species, and hosting free events for the underserved. Karen Rushlon is a leader and a role model and an example of the amazing difference one person can make in this world. So with those outstanding comments, I would present the Bill Chaffey Outstanding Community Service Award to Karen Rushlon. Karen?
Thank you very much, Tim. It's an honor, and it's a surprise. I honestly had no idea, and I just want to say that it's just not me alone that makes things happen. It's everybody in the community and all those people who volunteer and give their time. So on behalf of everyone that volunteers and gives their time, I'll accept the award, and thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Tim?
As I mentioned earlier in the presentation, I feel that we're very fortunate to live in a community like Franklin County, one that is so caring and giving. And what we're about to do here will really enforce that to the general public. And what we're going to do now is we have a check to present, and basically what it is this year's FCIDC Board of Directors wanted to recognize the work of Pam Cross and her team of 450 individuals who came together to sew 26,000 masks that were handed out free of charge to anyone who may have needed them. FCIDC was fortunate enough to assist Pam and her team in getting the word out to local businesses, and we helped distribute 1,500 masks throughout the county. Behind me today is one of the 2 quilts that was made with leftover mask material. It's a work of art for sure. It's beautiful, and I'll let Pam touch on that a little bit more. But I think back during the early days of the pandemic, when the public was informed that masks were not necessary, yet Pam was not deterred. She and her team kept pounding out the masks and handing them out. Franklin County was wearing masks before wearing masks was cool, or at the very least recommended. Folks may have seen the story in the St. Albans Messenger where the Northwestern Medical Center awarded Pam their 2020 Community Service Award. The hospital beat us to it by 1 week here, but FCIDC still wanted to recognize Pam and her team for all of the work that they did to keep Franklin County safe. We at FCIDC understand the cost of creating 26,000 masks, and we would like to make a contribution to offset the costs that Pam incurred and her team. And if you have managed to cover, Pam, and if you've managed to cover the costs, please feel free to use the funds for another one of your initiatives, like Festival of Trees and other activities that you're involved in. So Pam, on behalf of Franklin County Industrial Development, I want to present you this check for $500, and thank you for all you've done and all you continue to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim and FCIDC, for this monetary donation. I am so proud of this community and for everything that has occurred because of it. And you're right, back in March, when I first read the first case came to Vermont, the nurse in me said, you got to do something. So I went to the fabric store, picked up 3 cartloads of supplies and took it home, and then said, oh wow, now what do I do? So the next thing I did was trying to solicit some help to make some masks. And, you know, my goal in the beginning was, if we could make 500 masks, we'd be doing really well. And so I put together my first Facebook group, and this is where these 450 people came and joined the group. But out of that 450 people, I want to recognize about 120 men and women who came together to create these 26,000 masks. And all of the masks that we made were donated to the community. Nothing was sold. So the support of our community financially was critical in making this project successful. So I am so proud to be a member of Franklin County and a St. Albans resident, and to be able to pull this project off. And so behind me is just started to be a little bit of a diversion for our group. After making a lot of masks, there was some fatigue that started to occur. So somebody came up with the idea of, why don't we put a quilt together? And putting a quilt together sounds like a simple project, but it's a pretty big deal. And you can see there are 121 blocks on this. Every block is different, and these blocks were put together by the individuals who participated in the face mask group. The fabric is leftover face mask fabric. And most of these have stories to tell. At this point in time, we don't have time for that, but I tell you, it's an incredible feat to do this. This is actually the third quilt. This one was raffled off, and some of the finances offset the cost of the project. The second quilt has been donated to the St. Albans Historical Museum. And the third one, I was contacted by Michigan State University Quilt Museum, who also works with the Smithsonian Institute, and they requested a quilt. So the third quilt has actually been sent to them. So for that, I am very proud of this. And thank you to all of those who participated in making this project happen, and for those who supported it financially. Thank you. And thank you, Tim. I'd like to add that through the generous donation of all folks that helped by buying raffle tickets, by donating funds to help with the quilt, we were able to manage this project and give 26,000 masks to the community. But in addition to that, I want to add that when the project was finished, all our bills were paid, we had $7,000 remaining. And that $7,000 has been donated, half to Martha's Kitchen and half to the Northwest Food Shelf here in St. Albans. So I'm very proud that we were able to support those two agencies in addition to doing the face mask project. So I thank everyone for that.
This year, 2020, has been unique, to say the least. Historically, FCIDC holds our annual meeting either at the St. Albans Museum or City Hall, and we invite businesses, community members, public officials, usually gather about 100 individuals. But because of that, we had to get a little creative and come up with a different format. And we're able to do that with the assistance of Northwest Access TV. I've been dealing with Roger Lindelall and Paul Snyder, and we wanted to recognize their efforts in allowing us to have our annual meeting and getting it out to the general public. Without their assistance, it would not have been possible, and we truly appreciate that. So historically, when we do an annual reception, we usually incur about $2,000 in expenses between catering, hall rental, and a number of other things. And we'd like to utilize those funds to make donations to Northwest Access TV to show our appreciation of all the time and effort that they put in to making our annual meeting a success. So with that, I'd like to present a check to Paul Snyder. And Paul, if you want to come on up, leave that for you.
Thank you, Tim. It's true, this year has not been the best for everybody, and we're all trying to make a better situation of what we've been handed. And as Franklin County's Access Center, we're happy to be able to help organizations from all over try to get by and make it a best situation that we can. And thank you again for this generous donation. It's not something that we ever ask for, but as a nonprofit, we'll truly put these funds to use to help everyone else with their media service needs in Franklin County.
Once again, we're here to present another award, and that is the Rick Manahan Award. Rick Manahan was the president of People's Trust, born and raised in St. Albans, was very committed to St. Albans and Franklin County, had a long resume of assistance when it comes to community events, community initiatives, and community needs. So with that, the Rick Manahan Award, I believe we're in the 7th or 8th year since Rick has passed. Past recipients include myself, I think because no one else was around, Stan Beauregard, Leon Berthium, the Stata couple, Paul from the islands, Paul Clark, Wynn Goodrich, Dan Marlowe, and Kathy Lavoie. So we have Kathy Lavoie, who was the past WIB coordinator and has a seat on the Franklin County Industrial Development board of directors. So with that, I'll ask Kathy to come up and present the Rick Manahan Award for 2020. Kathy?
Thank you, Tim. Welcome, Hib. In 2010, the Franklin Grand Isle Workforce Investment Board created the Rick Manahan Civic Involvement Award. Rick is remembered as much for his work at People's Trust as for his individual contributions to the people of Franklin County. He was admired personally and professionally. His name is synonymous with community service and commitment. We will never forget his ambition to give more than he got. How do we ever recover from the loss of a true leader? We don't. But we can honor others who exemplify his integrity, his commitment, and his drive to serve the community. This year's recipient holds true Rick Manahan's most treasured values, a solid understanding of love for community and love for family. Hibdo has been a part of the vocational rehabilitation team for over 20 years. He began his career in VR in 1999 as a counselor, was promoted to a senior counselor, and then became the regional manager in 2006. According to Diane Delmas, director of Voc Rehab, Hib inherited some significant personality issues, and over time he has built two very high-performing teams in St. Albans and Newport. Hib is committed to the professional growth and development of his staff and to building leaders for the future. He has an excellent ability to partner, and he has built outstanding relationships in the public and private sectors during his tenure. And to that point, Katie Coe, Business Account Manager for Creative Workforce Solutions, remarks, Hib is sincerely one of the best community leaders and partners that I have ever worked with. His management skills and styles set the tone for developing and growing new leaders in our region. And as well, he is incredibly funny. You can't help but laugh when you're with Hib. Meg Lister, one of Hib's many employees, adds, Hib loves data-driven outcomes, but makes certain the workplace is both healthy and productive. He is both respected and admired. But Hib doesn't use his fame to sit back on his laurels. He's still out there making difference in a new way. Monica White, Director of Operations for the Department of Disabilities, Aging, and Independent Living, tells us, Hib has long been a valued colleague of mine. When I was deployed to lead the Dale's COVID-19 response in March, Hib was the first person I asked to join the team. He stepped up without hesitation and has become absolutely invaluable to Vermont's pandemic response. Hib has logged many notable accomplishments in the past 8 months, but perhaps most notably, he led the charge on developing N95 fit testing and respiratory protection protocols for our 200-plus long-term care facilities, a huge undertaking and vitally important to the state's pandemic readiness. Hib is universally respected and admired by his fellow staff of the Dale team, COVID-19 team, and others within state emergency operations. Hib is an absolute pleasure to work with and so deserving of this recognition for his outstanding service. And of equal importance, Hib's wife, Suzanne, and children, Thule and Fisher, need us to know that Hib isn't just incredible at work, but I think they're kind of mending fences when they told me. He loves us so much that he agreed to another St. Bernard that sheds and drools, even though he's a total neat freak. Go figure. They remind us that he is a typical Vermonter. He lives for his weekend household projects of chopping wood, stacking wood, staining the house, and tending to the garden. They benefit often from his amazing culinary skills, whipping up complicated recipes that are perfectly delicious. And just in case any of us hadn't noticed, Hib loves to tell the same stories and use the same phrases over and over again. So apparently, both work family and home family get to share in that joy. Hib, your endearing personality, your steadfast leadership, and your unending commitment to the community and to your family has had an incredible impact on our region and our state. We are sincerely grateful and the lives of many people are forever better. Congratulations on receiving the Rick Manahan Civic Involvement Award for 2020, and it's a great way for many of us to close out an incredibly challenging year. Congratulations, Hip.
Oh, Kathy, thank you so much, and thanks everybody for this award. I'm so touched by that. I was in the Navy many years ago, and when I get out, I wanted to go to college and come back to Vermont. And all I ever really wanted to do was kind of live in Franklin County and serve the people there if I was going to work in human services. And I was very, very lucky to do that. And I just work with a fabulous team, and I'm just very lucky. And the St. Albans community has always been big to me, and I've worked there for almost 30 years now, and just so many great people, and we just work well together there. You know, everybody who lives there and works in that community knows what a difference it is there compared to other parts of the state, and just what partners we have to get things done. It's just amazing. And Rick Manahan was awesome. He was a friend of mine too, and I could tell a quick story about Rick. We had a client at Voc Rehab who used a wheelchair and had a very good job. And at Voc Rehab, we can help people to buy handicap vans, or at least put money towards them, quite a bit of money towards a van, because it's very expensive to kind of have a van accommodated. And so we have a waiting list, and we had a young man who was on our waiting list, and he was going to be eligible the next year, but needed a van like this year. And so I called up Rick at the bank to say, hey, I think this guy could finance this van for this year. We could figure out how to have him just pay the principal on what he was going to owe. But could we get a loan now and kind of make that happen? And Rick said, Hib, he goes, that's what we do. That's what we're here for. We're here to serve the community and do these kind of things. And Rick totally set it up so we could make it possible for that guy to get a van a year ahead of time. And it worked out just great. And I'm just honored to get this award in Rick's name. And I just thought the world of him. And he was just always ready to kind of be there for people as well. So I want to thank everybody who was involved with this, and Kathy for all your research. I appreciate that nobody said any of the bad things about me they might have said about me.
Well, Hib, I will tell you, the minute the word got out, we had a ton of people that wanted to give input. We won't tell Suzanne that they were all women, but so those were the few.
Nice. Very, very nice. I'm just so honored and appreciative, and thank you so very much. Sorry I can't be there.
Well, here's your award, and
Thanks a lot.
Tim and I and the rest of Franklin County and Grand Isle County, and I'm sure the Newport community as well, is so incredibly grateful for everything you've done. Thank you, Hip.
Thank you. It means so much to me. Thank you, Tim. Thank you very much, too.
You're welcome, Hib. Get back to your chores.
All right. N95 fit test, and that's my life right now. Awesome. Thank you so much. I can't wait to put it up on the wall. That's great. Thank you, guys. I'm just honored. Very, very honored and humbled by it. Thank you.
Well, that concludes Franklin County Industrial Development's annual meeting for 2020. I'd like to once again thank and recognize Notch for all they do in Franklin County. Thank and recognize Karen Rushlow for all of her initiatives and good work that she does for the community. As I stated earlier, we're very fortunate to live in this community, and we have great people, and we care for each other. Also wanted to thank Pam Cross and her band of army of volunteers for everything they did, and we truly appreciate the work, keeping our county safe, and so Pam and your team, thank you very much. And also, congrats to HIB for receiving the Rick Manahan Award. It's I'm a little biased here, but it's quite the aggregation of individuals who have really shown what one person can do over time and have what impacts they can have on the community. And lastly, this would not have been possible without Northwest Access TV and the work of Roger and Paul and Alan here. We've combined a lot of different technology with Zoom and whatnot, and the final production just has turned out wonderful, and we're very thankful that we have Northwest Access TV as well. So thank you all. Hopefully next year we'll be able to get back to an in-person event, and when that does happen, we hope all of you can join us. So thank you. Have a safe holiday, enjoy the holidays, and all the best in 2021. Thank you.